bensbargains.com. Now, this is a website that I've known about for a while, but I've never actually talked about, and I didn't actually put into my course because while it is a great place to find deals, you do have to sort through it a little bit, but I'm going to show you how you sort through this today and find online arbitrage deals. Now, I haven't set any of this up. I'm going to go through like I would sort any other day and just kind of find a deal on here to buy potentially to then resell back on Amazon or another website. Now, I do like to buy these for the purpose of sending them into FBA most of the time. You can merchant fulfill them on Amazon as well if you want to go that route, and I'll show you, the vetting process that I use to, basically sort through and figure out if this is a good product, and if so, where should I actually resell it back online at, right? So what I like to do is I'll come to the categories here on Ben's Bargains, and I'll literally sort through some of these deals right here. Now, I'm going to go straight to electronics right off the bat because usually that has, in my experience at least, the best margins and the best discrepancies from the discount to the actual sale price on Amazon, but you can play around and find good deals in any of these categories. So let me show you an example of why this is a good site that you can use and why you want to actually buy from it. Now, one of the best points about Ben's Bargains is it does show you what it's selling for at Amazon, right? So this is showing that it's selling on Amazon for roughly 20 bucks potentially. And that's obviously dropped since then. So it's selling at 14 bucks right now. And there's 14 people on the listing. Now, to give you a good indicator, because you can buy this for 3 bucks, so that has that profit margin that I always talk about of at least $10 when you're first starting off. So it looks like a lot of people only have 1 or 2 of this, where 2 people actually have 17 and 30, and this person has 11. So depending on how fast this is actually selling, it may or may not be a product that I want to go after. Now, it is about 67,000 in electronics, so that's pretty solid. We're going to check whether we can sell it and what the sales velocity of this is. Now, it's selling about 42 a month, so it's not the best sales velocity in the world, and with 14 people, all with a quantity that is this high potentially, so 30, 17, 11, you're going to be sharing the buy box with everybody for a decent amount of time if it's only selling 42 a month. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. I might stay away from this deal, or I might go ahead and buy it. So let's go check out the deal here first and foremost. But actually, a step that I forgot is, can I actually sell this? So I'm going to take this into Seller Central and see, because none of it matters if you can't actually sell it back on Amazon. In that case, if you can still get a good deal and you still feel like there's a marketplace for it, you can sell it back on Poshmark, eBay, or Mercari. But I always like to be sure and check Amazon first and then use those other ones as fallback options in situations like this, especially with Ben's Bargains. So I can sell it in new and used condition, so that's a good sign. It is from a legitimate website, so Best Buy is selling this for 3 bucks. So I could potentially buy like 5 to 10 of these and sit on that profit margin, assuming that I could at least make $10, obviously not counting the fees on Amazon. If I merchant fulfill this, it would be a little bit less of fees. If I send it into FBA, it might be a little bit more, but I would do none of the work, and then I would just collect that recurring profit eventually as it sells. Now, one of the things that I did talk about in the last video as well is when you're buying things from deal sites like this, you're going to be wanting to share the buy box with everybody here because you have 14 sellers on this actual listing so far, and a lot of them have a lot of products. So if you continually come in here and say, you know what, I'm going to list mine at $13.95 to steal the buy box from this person after I send it into FBA, yeah, that's a good theory, in theory, right? It's a good strategy in theory. But what you'll start to see, because a lot of these people have repricers on these bulk deal, listings right here, is you're going to start to see race to the bottom pricing, and nobody is going to win. So this is not like it's your typical, coupon arbitrage product for private label. Instead, what you want to do is you want to come in and you want to match the buy box price so that everybody shares the buy box. It rotates back and forth, and then everybody wins because they can sell it at $13.99 eventually, if they're willing to wait on it for, with this product, if I'm buying 5 to 10, it might be a couple weeks to even potentially a couple months to sell out 5 to 10 of these, honestly. But if it's a profit margin, I might take that and just replenish my inventory, obviously, because I'm making money, knowing full well that if this does go up, I'll make more money. And if it stays the same, I'll still make money. And then obviously if it drops, then I'm shit out of luck. But, I'm only spending $3 to potentially get it. So one of the things that I like to do is I'll use the FBA Calculator, but another thing that I like to do is I actually like to use Keepa. Now, for some of these, for whatever reason, the camel extension has been, having an error lately. So I'll just take this into Keepa or go to camelcamel.com and I'll search the price history. So you can take it into Keepa if you want. It's a great place to use it. Or you can take it into camelcamel.com since the extension's not working and look at the price history of this product to see, okay, does it usually sell higher? And obviously there's no sales data for this because it might be a fairly new product. So let's try it in Keeper really fast. And typically what you're going to see is you'll see something like this with a graph, right? And it's going to show you what it usually sells at, what the history of the price is, so you can get a better identifier of if it's going to go up, stay the same, or go down. So keep us showing sales data for this. Right now it's listed at $14 roughly. Last week it was listed, literally a few days ago, it was listed at 15, and then it was down at $13.50. So it's showing that for this one, it's usually selling at about $14, and it has since June. So you can pretty much assume that, okay, it's been selling since May, since May, and we're currently at the end of August. It's a pretty safe bet that if you match the buy box here and you don't try to get and race the bottom pricing, then you can expect to sell this at roughly $13.99, maybe slightly lower. So that does check out. Keep in mind that you can use Keepa and you can use Camel to check the sales velocity of these products, or sorry, the sales history of these products. If you want to check the sales velocity, I recommend Jungle Scout. Now, the next thing that I want to do, so we already went through the seller add-on to see how much of a quantity our potential competitors have, so we understand how long we might be sharing the buy box potentially with them. I want to see if it's profitable if I send it into FBA, so I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to fulfill it myself. So the product cost to me was, I think, $2.99, right? $2.99 from Best Buy. The shipping cost into FBA, let's say if I buy 10 of these, it might be something like 20 cents, honestly. So my potential profit margin is $3.84 per unit if I'm buying it for $2.99. The shipping cost into Amazon for, each individual unit, because remember, I'm buying 10 of them. So to ship, 10 of them in, it might be, that's not right. So let's go like 40 cents here. So, because usually it's like $4 to $5 potentially to ship it into FBA, depending on where you're selling it or where you're sending it to, what FBA factory, but it's a little bit beyond the scope of this video. Depending on how many you're going to buy, you might want to estimate differently. But so I'm still potentially making a profit of about $3.64 per unit that I buy with this if I sell it at $13.99 and if I pay $2.99 per product, and then my shipping cost into FBA is 40 cents. Now, if I didn't ship this into FBA, obviously, what would my FBA calculator tell me that I would potentially make? So if I bought this, kept it at my house or my apartment or my warehouse or whatever, or my garage, some of you guys are doing this in garages, which also works very well. So let's see what what I would make here on this one. So let's get the ASIN, and we'll see if I merchant fulfill this and didn't send it into FBA, which I don't always recommend. Sometimes it's better, honestly, to pay that higher fee for FBA, to have them hold your product, do all the customer service for you, do all the seller fulfillment for you, and all the shipping and all that other stuff for you, handle returns, etc., etc. Now, keep in mind that since this does have a low sales velocity and you're going to be sharing the buy box, if you send this into FBA, it honestly might not sell that fast, so you might incur, if it's lasting for longer than like 6 months, you might end up incurring some seller fees. So that's why I would stay maybe like 5 to 10 of these and not go crazy and deep in this inventory. Because you might say like, oh, I can make $3.64 per unit, so why don't I just buy 100 of these, and then potentially eventually I'm going to make $364 or whatever that is. That you don't want to do that, because then you're going to be hit, if you send it into FBA, you're going to hit with long-term storage fees. So just keeping that in mind on how many you're buying and how many you expect to sell over the long term, okay? So for my fulfillment, the item price is still going to be $2.99. The cost of the product, sorry, I messed that up. So the cost of the product is $2.99. The item price is $13.99, I think. $13.99. The shipping, so the shipping is going to be, this is how much I'm charging the customer. If I were merchant fulfilling this, I never charge the customer, because I always want to I don't want to, in my opinion, if you even charge more a little bit and then you lower the shipping cost to free, you're going to convert a lot more people, because on Amazon, so many people are used to paying Prime shipping or paying nothing because they have Prime shipping. So if you're charging shipping, your conversion rates are going to drop significantly. So I never charge shipping. I always have a free shipping template that I do when I fulfill merchant fulfilled, but I rarely fulfill merchant fulfilled on products like this. The only things that I fulfill merchant fulfilled are books and like stuff that I can ship media mail and stuff that I can ship, as like bound printed matter, which is also very likely like media mail, for the simple reason that it doesn't cost me anything really to ship it. It's super cheap. It's profitable. I don't really need any shipping supplies whatsoever, and I can literally just drop it in a mailbox, and it's super, super easy. So what I'm interested in now is I want to call it the cost of my seller fulfillment. If I'm sending these in, might be like $5. So what am I going to make then net profit if I fulfill this myself? And it's $3.90. So it's like 50 cents more. So in that particular case, sometimes you'll see like, okay, you're making $10 if you fulfill it by your merchant, like yourself as merchant fulfilled, and you're only making like $3 if you send it into FBA. So in that case where there's such a discrepancy, that's when you might want to think about fulfilling it yourself. But for this, 50 cents discrepancy, I don't even want to deal with it. I would send it into FBA. So what I would do is I'd potentially buy like 5 to 10 of these and then make $3.64 by shipping them all into FBA. So I would be spending $2.99, and if I bought 10 of them, that's going to tell me I'm spending $29. So $29.99, about $30, and I would be making $3.64 on that times 10, roughly. Obviously, that's gonna fluctuate depending on what the price is, all sorts of things. So I'm spending about 30 to make 30, so that's a little bit over 100% return on my investment. So that's a decent product that you can find. Now, I just wanted to run you through an example. I got lucky that the first one right here was a good product, but you can look through all these other ones. Here's another one right here, potentially. You're buying it for $22 on this website. You could potentially sell it back on Amazon for $55, but keep in mind you want to look for these Amazon 4s right here. See how that's not right there? Because then it's going to show you that, okay, selling on Amazon, and they can show you the listing. You don't have to actually search for it yourself by taking the title and actually searching for that product. So that's just a little run through of Ben's bargains. You can utilize this to your advantage to make good money with online arbitrage.